Hey guys, thanks for joining us here at Cooking with Shotgun Red. And if you like salads, we have you covered.
That's right. We're going to show you how to make 3 great homemade salad dressings that you are going to absolutely love.
Hey everybody, Hunter Fisher, Trapper, Trader, Guide, Scout, and Interpreter, and just a country cook, Steve Hall, here in Nashville, Tennessee, along with pretty Miss Sheila running that camera. Hi, Sheila.
Hi.
You know I'm making this recipe for you today, right?
Right.
I love blue cheese and French mixed together, so we have a homemade blue cheese dressing recipe and a homemade French dressing recipe. But today we're going to make homemade ranch dressing for Sheila to go on this delicious salad. So come on over here and let's get started. All right, let's have some fun. Let's start out with a cup of mayonnaise, half a cup of sour cream, and a 1/4 cup of buttermilk. Now we're going to put in a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Now make sure you don't use garlic salt and onion salt. That just gets way too salty. So use the powders, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. Follow me on this, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, that's all, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of regular black pepper, and a pinch of salt. Just pinch them up, chuck them in there, and that's going to be just right. All right. Now it's time for our little herbs in here. Now you can use dry herbs because you should really let this rest in the refrigerator for 24 hours. But when I was at the store, I kind of ran by and I got some dill, some tarragon, some chives, and then when I got home I forgot the parsley, so I got parsley. And those are the 4 ingredients that you want to use for this homemade ranch dressing. Again, it's dill, chives, tarragon, and parsley, and it's a half a teaspoon of each one of them. It's pretty thick, so if I want to thin it out just a little bit, and this will thicken up as it sets over night in the fridge, I use a little bit of half and half, and don't be afraid to pour just a little bit of half and half. I'm just kind of using that as an example if it gets too thick on you. But this really looks delicious. Now we're ready for our little magic ingredient. Here we go. We're just going to put in a couple of drops of Worcestershire sauce. Just a couple, not very much at all. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hold on a second. I'm going to actually get my spoon and dip some of that back out because I don't want that much in there. Just a couple of drops. It'll kind of dissolve into the rest of it, and it gives it just a little bit of a tang, and you really don't know where that delicious flavor came from. But, you know, maybe do it in a spoon first, then dump it in. But you only want about 2 drops of Worcestershire sauce. Then, into the refrigerator overnight. Well, what do you think? There we go. Here's our little salad. Is this the most delicious homemade ranch dressing you ever ate? Boy, if it ain't, it ought to be. Today we're going to make homemade French dressing. I'm going to use this KitchenAid today because you can mix this up with a whisk or you can use a hand blender. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is take this little attachment out of the way, and I'm going to start out with 1½ cups of Hunt's ketchup. Now this here happens to be the no preservatives. I also like the one they got that doesn't have any high fructose corn syrup in it. But I use Hunt's. And I'm going to make the half a batch, which is 1½ cups of Hunt's ketchup, 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 cup of white vinegar. Man, this salad dressing is so fantastic. Here is 2 cups of regular white sugar. Now that that's all in there, I'm going to mix this up before I put my seasonings in because I want that oil to get incorporated with everything along with dissolving the sugar. Let me put my little mixer down in here and lock it in place. And I'm going to put this on the lowest setting right there. And I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. I'm going to let this mix really, really, really good. and we'll be back then to continue the recipe. See you in a minute. All right, it's been mixing about 3 minutes, looking good. In fact, number 1, believe it or not, says stir on the back of this KitchenAid. But I'm going to move it to number 2 and let it mix it a little better because I really want to get that oil incorporated into that ketchup and vinegar, and I want the sugar to be really dissolved. So I'm going to go a little bit higher, just to number 2. I don't want to go any higher than that because I don't want a bunch of air bubbles in it. I just want it to mix it up real good. We'll see you in a couple, 3 minutes. All right, that's looking really good. Time to add our seasonings. Because this is a half batch, we're going to put in a half a tablespoon of kosher salt, a half a tablespoon of black pepper, a half a tablespoon of chili powder, a half a tablespoon of paprika. Now this recipe's from 40 years ago out of a truck stop, and it's so good. Half a tablespoon. These are all half a tablespoons, and I'll put all the ingredients below the video. In here is a half a teaspoon of onion powder and only a half a teaspoon of garlic powder, because I thought the garlic kind of overtook the recipe. It's hard to move 5 gallons down to just a, like a quart or two and not be kind of goofing up the recipe. So let me put this back in here, lock her down, just put it on low to start with, kind of get her going. Now I'm going back to number 2 again. That looks really good. I love the smell of spices like that. It's wonderful. Let's let this mix a good 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll give it a little taste test. See you in a second. Give it a little quick tip of the spoon test. That's it. That's the stuff. And once you put this in the refrigerator, the longer it sits in there, the better it gets. It has a shelf life, especially in the refrigerator, for a long, long time because of that vinegar and stuff in there. And we're just going to store it in some little pint jars. Can you see that, Sheila?
I can.
And look at there.
Almost.
Look at there. Almost filled it up. Well, look what I did. I ran in the kitchen and made a quick salad because I couldn't stand it no more. And I got to show you something that my stepma used to do, Ardella. She'd put blue cheese dressing and French dressing on the same salad and mix it together. It is so delicious. Now, I got to tell you, what you're looking at here is our homemade blue cheese dressing. So you can jump to that particular recipe as well. I'm going to put a dollop over here of this blue cheese. Then, here is the recipe from 40 years ago. Oh, I just got a little bit off the rim there. That is so fantastic. What do you think, Sheila?
That's really pretty.
Man, that is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to show you how to make the most delicious homemade blue cheese dressing. You'll love it on everything. Get your steaks out on the grill, your venison steaks, put blue cheese on top of them, along with all your chicken wings for the big game. And here's how we do it. We need 1.5 cups of mayonnaise to start with. I make this stuff all the time. I absolutely love it. And I got to give credit where credit's due. I got this recipe from my sister-in-law, Yvonne, up there in Brainerd. And she knows how to make this stuff. When I ate this the first time, I flipped out. I made her give me the recipe. Now we're going to use about 1/2 teaspoon of sugar, about 1/2 teaspoon of mustard, already prepared mustard, about 1/8 teaspoon of vinegar. Now I use apple cider vinegar in just about everything. I just like the color for some reason. Just a pinch of salt, just a little bit of salt, and then I like quite a bit of pepper. Put some color in there. Kind of stir that up just a little bit. Here's what we got happening down in this little bowl. It looks good already and doesn't even have the blue cheese in there yet. This stuff is the best. Stop buying the little plastic bottles in the store. They're just nasty. So we're going to try to put our blue cheese in here right now, and then we're going to blend it, and we got 2 different types. I usually pick the kind that's in one big chunk. You can buy the crumbly kind, comes in a little plastic tub, and it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But I look for the one that's all in one chunk because it just seems like it has better flavor deep down in there. And it usually says cave cured or you know, something has been in a cave or something like that. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to break these chunks up in there and pop it in just so the mixer has a little easier time with it. Get your fingers involved. Now here's your system. Do you like your blue cheese chunky or do you like it smooth? That's totally up to you and this little mixer right here. Now I like it chunky. Sheila likes it smooth, but she does love the homemade blue cheese dressing. She just don't like those big chunks of cheese when you bite into them. On the other hand, I do. I got to show you the color on this. It just has that beautiful, beautiful blue, yummy texture to it. It's absolutely fantastic. What you do, if you don't like it real chunky, add a little bit of heavy whipping cream to smooth it out. I'm going to put in just about a quarter cup. I'm going to make Sheila's blue cheese dressing today. You plop this stuff down, and everybody's going to say, where did you buy that fantastic blue cheese dressing? You tell them, I bought it at Steve's house, the guy that teaches you how to make gorgeous blue cheese dressing to have with your celery. Let me grab one of these little chicken wing dudes here and drag him in there. Oh man, uh-oh, there's the Packers beating the Vikings again. That probably isn't going to go over very good up in Minnesota, but I had to say that. Try this. Hold on one second. Wow. Is this the most delicious blue cheese dressing you've ever ate in your entire life? If it ain't, it ought to be. This is Steve Hall saying, see you next time. We hope you enjoy this recipe, and we really hope you subscribe to our channel. That's easy. Little Shotgun Red's face will pop up over here in a little bit. When you click on it, it'll say subscribe, then you're subscribed. Next to it will be a little notification bell. If you click that little bell, then YouTube will send you every single one of our recipes or a notification that we posted one as soon as it comes out. See you next time, right here on Cooking with Shotgun Red. Is this the best? If it ain't, it ought to be.